How's it going, guys? I'm gonna go ahead and apologize in advance for the quality of this video because this is from PAX, so you guys kind of know what it's like. Some of you may know what it's like starting out with retail carts and having to put your camera on like a stack of CDs and like trying to improvise, do that kind of thing. I think I put my camera on top of my TCG deck that I brought that day, but this is a match against one of the challengers of the league. This is actually the first champion of the league. They gave out little cloaks to the champions and then badges for everyone that played against the gyms, the elite members, things like that. And he was one of 5 people that day to receive a champion's cape. I was 4th out of 5. I was the last one to receive a completed one. The last kid was like 11 or 12 or something like that. He was a little shit stain and he got an incomplete one, and that made me really happy. Anyways, I'm being a rude motherfucker. I have a game against Derek, and he ended up bringing a weather team as well. There was a couple of weather teams that day, and on a whole, I kind of got like better challenges from the challengers themselves as opposed to the league. I only lost 1 match that day. This is the team that PK helped me make at Revelation, so kind of shout out to him, because the Kingdra really did catch so many rain users off guard that day. Freaking Archie, because like the elite members dressed themselves up, Archie was cursing up a storm because I ended up counter sweeping him with that Kingdra, and it was the most beautiful fucking thing I'd seen all day. But you can kind of see what's going on in the opening turns. You can see that my Ninetales is faster than his Abomasnow, which is why he decides to hard switch out into his Tentacruel. It's a pretty good matchup. I figured I'd just go ahead and burn it, just to go ahead and negate the Black Sludge and actually get some damage going on from the burn, because the Halo is going to negate it, and then I'm actually going to get burn damage. I don't mind the Toxic Spikes at all because I do have a Venusaur, and because this is an infrared battle, there is no team preview. So that's kind of a thing to keep in mind for some of my decisions. This plays a lot more like 4th gen with the auto leveling and everything. This isn't like a standard flat battle. Item clause is not enforced. They did try to enforce item clause the entire time, but basically the only people that bitched me out about item clause were people that got really butt mad, which out of like 30 people I played that day, it was really only 2. And then one of the guys that bitched me out for brought a Thundurus, and I ended up 6-0ing him anyway, and I was like, wow, you're a fucking idiot. Item clause had nothing to do with that. Ain't no item on that Sawsbuck. Just fucking look out. But this fucking Heatran, let me tell you about how much train this thing ran. Holy shit. Max HP, max Spadef. Toxic stalling, Magma Storm trapping Heatran with the taunt to shut down the recover, the things like that, and they can't switch out. The problem is I'm doing this on a Tentacruel, so you can see how much I've sped this up, and all the after turn effects in person. Holy crap, I think this matchup in itself lasted like a good 5 minutes just for like 3 turns, but I end up protecting a little bit. You can see that I'm taking the Scalds. Even though the sun isn't up, I'm still taking them pretty damn well from that Tentacruel. Have no risk of being burned because of the fire type and all that shit. But it went pretty well. You know, I got out of that matchup a little bit better than I thought. He lost his Rapid Spinner, which is going to be good, especially if he's got other things that happen to be weak to Stealth Rock. I would assume so because he is running a Hail team, so he might be running one more Ice type on this team, such as Frostlass. Maybe, I think he had a Mamoswine somewhere in there, but he brings in his Infernape. I think he is running under Item Clause, so I think this one might be choice banded. That's kind of the impression I'm getting here. If he is choiced in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to bring in Venusaur anyway. He's not going to close combat a Venusaur. And I'm actually going to make a hard switch out. I mainly just brought him in to scare him out. It was a really good pivot because it got rid of the Toxic Spikes, and it was going to scare him off. And my main intent was to go into Donphan. I had a feeling it might have coaxed out a Scizor as well, but I don't mind taking a hit from Scizor. So while he ends up going for the U-turn, I don't really care what he goes. So if he had an Espeon, that would have sucked because I wouldn't have seen it on team preview. Thinking about it, bringing a Zoroark to this league would have been good because everything was infrared and there was no team preview whatsoever, which really was a nice throwback to 4th gen. I think that's one of the main reasons I enjoyed this event, because you didn't know anything until you saw it, unless you had a peek at their screen beforehand, which is kind of unfair. And admittedly, a couple of people did that to me. I did that to a couple of people, etc. It was still a fun time though. But as you can see, I set up the Stealth Rock as he brings in a Swampert. I don't really care if he sets him up himself. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Kingdra regardless of what he's going to do. I know that Kingdra has a decent amount of natural bulk to take just about anything that Swampert wants to do. He wasn't expecting the Kingdra at all on a Sun team, but because the Hail is up as opposed to the Sun, it allows me to actually play out my trump card in the next couple turns. I'm going to go for a Dragon Pulse instead of a Draco because, as tempting as it is, he does still have the Scizor left, and I know I'm going to go ahead and draw that out right now because of its Steel typing. So going to go for a Dragon Pulse in case for whatever reason he does want to stay in. It'll do a pretty substantial amount to Swampert as well. But as you can see, he's going to want to stay in. turn, I think he was tempted to go for the U-turn right here as opposed to the bullet punch, which is why I smack him right in the face with the hidden power fire. Nobody saw that coming that day. Everybody bringing in Ferrothorns all day on Kingdra, and that's what ended up happening. I got a Fortress earlier this way too, but I didn't end up recording a lot of games because they just ended up being very one-sided. Now, I think this turn right here is unfortunately what ended up costing him the game, because he ends up going for Outrage here while I still have a Donphan, which is very much, you know, good on HP. I don't care if he wants to stay in and do that. If he wanted to set up on that turn, I recognize that that thing is a big fucking threat. So if he wants to set up, I hit that big Draco Meteor right there, and that would have taken him out in case he wanted to get too cocky. But as you can see, he doesn't. He just goes ahead and KOs me outright. But Outrage from a +1 Salamence is not going to KO a max HP, max defense Donphan. And combined with the hail damage and, you know, the Ice Shard, all that shit, I was scared I was going to die right there, but fortunately I live it on 8, got the lefties negating it, and I'm going to be able to take him out with another Ice Shard. He knew that if he was going to go ahead and switch out, he was going to end up losing it to the Stealth Rocks anyway because he lost his spinner. So there's kind of the reasoning behind that. If he had Dragon Claw, that definitely would have been better to go for. It would have ended up, he could have ended up saving his Salamence. I don't know if he had Outrage and Dragon Claw, but there's that. So I'm gonna go for an Ice Shard just to get some damage off on this thing. It's not gonna be good damage, but it's some damage, and I kind of want to see what he locks himself in on, I guess. Not like it's really gonna end up fucking. He's gonna take me out with something, but that's kind of, I did about as much as hail damage, which is funny because I did that with an Ice Shard. But locks himself in on Flare Blitz. That is a-okay because I'm actually gonna go ahead and bring in my Ninetales. I don't care if I boost his Flare Blitz because I'm at full HP. This thing does have max HP. It probably will hurt, and I'm actually gonna protect to see if he is choiced, if he's gonna want to change up moves. Since he's going for a Flare Blitz on a Ninetales, I am very convinced at this point that he is choiced, especially after the amount of damage he's gonna end up doing to me with this. That is an easy 70. I think that's 75% right on the money, but go for Flamethrower, and it's gonna end up taking him out from that range. I don't know whether, I don't fucking know anything right now. But Hail's gone for now. I actually don't care if I lose the Weather War because all he has is this and a Swampert. And I do have the Stealth Rocks up, so I'm going to get a little bit of residual damage on that. He gets his Hail up, that's fine. He may win the Weather War, but I actually do end up winning the battle in the next couple of turns because he tries to take me out with an Ice Shard. Not going to work out, and I'm going to go for the Flamethrower, take this thing out. In case you guys remember, I do still have Venusaur, and I have not sent out my Sawsbuck at all in this battle. So there is also that. He is very much screwed at this point. I think that Salamence really could have helped him out, but it was all in just what move he wanted to choose in that instant. If he did happen to be like Choice Scarf, which I know is a fairly popular set as well. Missed my Will-O-Wisp, kind of a little bit of salt in the wound, but honestly, you know what? I didn't have much of a wound because this was a fun battle. Don't get me wrong, like we're just fucking having a good time. And then there was a couple of other people there. I actually met a couple of subscribers. It was really nice to see you guys. I'm sorry I didn't really get the time to talk too much to you guys. I was too busy trying to collect all them badges, you know. But take out the Swampert with a Giga Drain starter versus starter, and that is some cool shit. So I had been using this team a lot. I used this team against Hayden. I was using this team a lot in like the past 3 weeks. So I don't know if I've uploaded a lot of it, but just expect to see more of it on this channel. It's going to be the same thing. I haven't changed any of the EVs on anything since at all. But anyway, that was the game. This was one of the games from PAX. I think I also used this team in the 2 versus 2 battle, which was kind of interesting as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, and do your thing. I got one more from PAX, and then I have one more against a friend of Heather's that I believe is actually subscribed to me. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'll save that too. So there's that. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.